Is working from home now almost becoming a right?
It's not a right, not yet.
No, but are we moving in that direction?
I think employees are now in a stronger position to negotiate working from home on a more permanent basis, and COVID has driven that really, because previously a lot of employers operated 5 day a week in the office, and almost you had to prove why you should be able to work from home. Now COVID has taught us that people can be productive working from home, and so employers are now having to look at hybrid working policies.
Well, is that because they're scared of their employees, perhaps? I mean, the productivity argument, I mean, come on, Amanda, the truth of it is, you know, you work from home and the doorbell rings because it's the Amazon delivery, or the neighbour's got music on loud, or it's, you know, perhaps hotter at home where you haven't got air conditioning compared to an office where maybe you do have air conditioning. I mean, I just don't buy this productivity argument. Is there any sensible research that's been done on this?
Well, I'm a case in point. I work predominantly from home. I'm a working mum with 3 children. I work much longer hours at home than I ever did in an office.
Well, with all those distractions, I'm not surprised.
But answering the door takes a few seconds.
Well, what about having 3 kids around the place? How do you work with 3 kids around the place?
They're at school or they're in childcare, so it doesn't affect my job. That's not to say there might not be instances where people are using it as an opportunity to do other things, but I think on the whole, I don't know of any research as such yet, but certainly in my situation, I'm able to work from home successfully. And I think employers are, you hear this phrase, the war on talent. Employers are now having to look at how they can keep the right people that they want to for their business. And this is an example of where employees are now able to say, I'd love to do this job, but I need more flexibility, and that includes working from home to an extent.
There may be jobs, like being a computer programmer, you know, where you work on your own, and maybe you've got a set of headphones on, and you've got a specific task to do, and you don't need social interaction to do it. But in most things in life, great new ideas happen because we're with each other. We bounce ideas off each other. In fact, certainly in my working life, perhaps I'm the exception, sometimes even better ideas come on a Thursday night after work when you go out for a social drink, and sometimes I think, wow, that's a great idea. And for young people, I mean, work from home surely is catastrophic for ambitious young people who physically need to be with others to learn.
I would agree with you on that. I think the younger people who are starting out in their careers need more interaction face-to-face than people who've maybe developed their careers and know how to build relationships, not necessarily face-to-face. So I spend a lot of time on Zoom calls having to build those relationships. You have to work extra hard in order to do that. But for the people starting out in their careers, they really benefit from face-to-face interaction, and I see that in workplaces that I go and work at.
If I'm a foreign investor and I'm thinking about investing in the UK, and the pound's quite cheap, so it's a good time. If I've got dollars or some other currencies, it's quite a good time to invest in the UK. Am I going to look at the growth of this work-from-home culture as being a positive or a negative in terms of putting my money in?
I think from a property perspective, perhaps it's a negative because there are lots of empty buildings now all around. I think personally from a productivity perspective, there is still a lot of opportunity. People are working harder when they're working from home, at least in my experience. And the fact that we now have a mix of working models, and it's not just rigid, you must come to the office 5 days a week, I think can only be good for morale and engagement and that discretionary effort that's so key in getting people to stay working for their employer.